She didn't flinch when her knees hit the cold asphalt. The laughter echoing behind her was sharp, youthful, and careless. The kind that only comes from people who've never faced real pain. The cadets thought she was just another new instructor, some civilian consultant with a stiff posture and too much pride. They didn't know that the woman they just shoved to the ground had survived ambushes in Kandahar, carried wounded brothers through hellfire, and stared death in the eyes more times than she could count. They didn't know she had once worn the trident of a Navy SEAL. When Lieutenant Commander Elise Warren arrived at the academy, she didn't come with medals or speeches. She came quietly, dressed in simple fatigues, hair tied back, eyes cold with years of discipline. Her records were sealed, her history scrubbed by orders from above. Officially, she was there to assist with tactical training. Unofficially, she was there to observe the next generation, those who would someday inherit the burden she had carried. The cadets didn't know her past. They only saw a woman half their size with calm eyes and a soft tone that didn't command their fear, and that mistake they would never forget. The incident happened on the second week. It was raining, one of those relentless storms that turned the obstacle yard into a battlefield of mud and frustration. The cadets were exhausted, soaked to the bone, and prideful. Elise walked through their ranks, correcting posture, adjusting grip, reminding them of teamwork and respect. A group of senior cadets didn't take kindly to being corrected by someone they didn't think belonged there. Their leader, a tall and arrogant trainee named Lewis, whispered something, and before anyone could stop him, he accidentally bumped into her shoulder. She staggered but didn't respond. The second shove came harder. The third sent her sprawling into the mud. Laughter broke out, nervous, cruel, and loud. Elise didn't yell. She didn't threaten. She simply stood up, wiping the mud from her face with slow, deliberate movements. Her silence was terrifying. She looked at the group, eyes still calm, but something behind them had changed. A storm behind still waters. "Back in line," she said simply. Her tone wasn't raised, but every cadet felt it deep in their bones. And without understanding why, they obeyed. That night, the commandant received an urgent request. Elise wanted permission to conduct an unscheduled night drill. The commandant, who knew who she really was, agreed instantly. When the lights went out at 2300 hours, the alarms blared through the academy. "Full combat drill," the loudspeakers roared. The same cadets who had laughed earlier stumbled out into the rain again, groggy and irritated. Elise stood before them, drenched, silent, and commanding. "Tonight," she said, "you'll learn something the manuals don't teach." What followed was chaos. Mud, cold, and exhaustion broke them down one layer at a time. She pushed them to crawl through trenches, carry their injured, and climb the slick rope wall in the dark. Every time someone fell, she was there, steady, unyielding, her own body caked in mud. When one cadet collapsed, she lifted him onto her shoulders without hesitation and moved forward. The sight stunned them all. No one could believe how strong she was, how calm, how relentless. By dawn, the entire platoon was trembling, their arrogance shattered. When the sun finally broke through the mist, Elise called them to formation. "You think toughness is about shouting?" she said, her voice raw from the night. "You think respect is demanded? But respect isn't taken. It's earned through pain, through discipline, through loyalty to the one beside you." Her eyes swept across their faces, landing on Lewis, who could barely meet her gaze. "You pushed me down," she continued softly, "but you can't push down what's already been through war." The commandant stepped forward then, holding a small, dark blue folder. He opened it in front of the platoon and read aloud, "Lieutenant Commander Elise Warren, United States Navy, Special Warfare Operator, Decorated SEAL, Silver Star recipient, served in over 30 combat missions including Operation Red Echo." The silence that followed was deafening. Every cadet froze, disbelief painting their faces pale. The same woman they mocked had once led teams through the deadliest corners of the world. The same woman they had laughed at had saved lives, had buried friends, had come home alone. Lewis stepped forward, trembling. His voice cracked when he tried to speak, but Elise raised her hand. "You don't owe me words," she said. "You owe yourselves respect, because one day the person standing next to you in the field might not look like what you expect, but they might be the only reason you come home." Her words hit like a slow, painful wave that no one could escape. Many cadets turned away, ashamed. Others wept quietly, realizing how shallow their judgment had been. Weeks later, she became a legend on base. The cadets who once mocked her now trained under her with reverence. She didn't need to yell to command respect anymore, they gave it freely. Elise never mentioned her past again. But sometimes late at night when the younger recruits asked why she stayed so calm under pressure, she'd smile faintly and say, "Because storms don't scare those who've already lived through the war." Her story spread beyond the academy, through whispers and respect until it became part of its legacy. Every new cadet learned about the day they pushed down the Navy SEAL who stood back up, not to punish them, but to teach them what strength really meant. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep bringing real stories of courage and redemption to light. And before we end, tell us in the comments below, what does true strength mean to you? Because sometimes the quietest warriors carry the loudest lessons.